Hey, you. Think fast.
Here comes the gold team, Jeff and Kelly. Here comes the blue team, Jason and Tiffany. They're here to play Think Fast, the game where fast minds and fast feet add up to fast prizes. And here's the host of Think Fast, Michael Carrington.
Thank you very much, and thank you, James. Hi, everyone.
This video is brought to you by Patreon. Patreon! Johnny, tell them what they've won. I've said it many times now, but it bears repeating. Double Dare made Nickelodeon. Yes, things like Nicktoons and other projects from the 1990s would end up defining the channel, but they would not have been created if Double Dare hadn't been a surprise blockbuster success, becoming the most watched cable program of its time. And, even more importantly for the channel's immediate financial success, it opened the door for syndication of original programming to other networks, with versions of Double Dare and Nick's follow-up game show, Finders Keepers, airing on Fox networks. With Double Dare's success, you might expect the channel to go all gung-ho for children's game shows. They're cheap to produce and make a lot of money. But Nickelodeon was surprisingly reserved immediately after Finders Keepers. No new game shows were created in 1988, which also meant no new shows were syndicated by Nickelodeon. This was a deliberate decision. Sure, it would be easier and perhaps more immediately profitable if Nick became a children's game show content mill, but Jerry Laybourne and her team had little interest in being beholden to networks on the long term. Instead, Nickelodeon reinvested the syndication money into new projects and new resources. Not the least of which was new studio space in Orlando, Florida, on the property of Universal Studios. While this studio space wouldn't open to the general public until mid-1990, television production there would begin in 1989, the first show being Double Dare. In March of 1989, Double Dare moved out of the WHYY-TV studio in Philadelphia, which had been its home for 3 years. But, Nickelodeon had a good relationship with that studio space. Their lease on it might not have even ended before Double Dare left, though I can't confirm that. Whatever the case, as the creators of Double Dare were packing their show up for Florida, they looked around the now empty studio and went, we could still use this for something. Maybe we can make another game show, as a treat.
Your brain, every weekday stuffed with math, science, biology, geography, every weekday stuffed with school. Well now, thanks to Nickelodeon, you don't have to take it anymore, because we've got a brand new game show that takes the pain out of brains. It's Think Fast, where fast feet and a fast mind get you fast prizes. Unscramble the soup, create your own monster, blow open the locker room, use your noggin on Think Fast, and anything is possible. So go ahead, stuff your brain with the mental madness of Think Fast, every weekday at 6, 5 Central on Nickelodeon.
Premiering on May 1st, 1989, Think Fast was a children's game show that took the messy physical challenges of Double Dare and made them more about puzzle solving and memorization. 2 teams of 2, the blue team and the gold team, compete head-to-head in 5 random challenges to win money, the first 3 challenges being worth $50 and the final 2 being worth $100. Challenges might include digging through a birthday cake for giant Scrabble pieces and then having to figure out what they spell. They might include finding the correct pattern of switches to make Frankenstein's monster come to life. They might include throwing wet paper wads at a bullseye on a chalkboard while staying unnoticed by a teacher asking general knowledge questions.
Okay, how many days are there in a week? 7, very good. How many sides does a cube have?
8.
No, I'm sorry, it's 6. How many letters does the alphabet have?
26.
Make them stick. What is another name for an elephant's nose?
Trunk.
Okay. Which weighs more, a pound of lead or 2 pounds of feathers?
Pound of lead.
I'm sorry, it's the feathers.
Every time a team won a challenge, they were given a chance to solve the Think Fast Brain Bender, a picture that was slowly revealed through the show. Sometimes it would be a picture of a celebrity that had to be identified, sometimes it was a close-up of a common object, sometimes it was a collection of pictures and the kids would have to find their common element, and sometimes it was a Rubus, a picture puzzle representing a phrase.
What was that?
To be or not?
Is it to be or not to be? Tina and Jim think it's to be or not to be. That is the brain bender.
The first team to solve the brain bender would receive $200. If the brain bender wasn't solved after the show's 5 challenges, then each team would go back and forth until someone figured it out, even if one team had already cinched the win. In the very rare case of someone solving the brain bender before the 5 challenges were all up, a new brain bender for another $200 would be introduced. Whoever had the most money at the end of all of this would then get a stab at the locker room. In each of the lockers was a weird character with a matching character in some other locker.
May the Schwartz be with you.
It's a space princess in locker number 13 with actual buns in her hair. You see that? Actual buns in her hair. Locker number 5. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a spoiled brat. That's what it is, a spoiled brat. Locker number 15. Oh, it's a very prim and proper woman, yes.
The 2 contestants would then take turns trying to find as many as 6 matches in the allotted time. The first player would get 30 seconds, and the second player would also get 30 seconds unless the first player failed to find something called the time bomb in one of the lockers. If after 20 seconds the first player hasn't found the time bomb, it goes off, and the second player only has 20 seconds to find the remaining pairs. Each found pair would win the team a prize, though the prizes here are something of a step down from what you usually saw in Double Dare. Ooh, look, a tacky clock, a phone that's also a gumball machine, and my personal favorite, a skateboard with a built-in radio that would get totally destroyed the second you performed a single manual. The final prize was often a trip to space camp, though. Man, I always wanted to go to space camp. The first season was hosted by Michael Carrington, a graduate of Syracuse University and an occasional commercial actor. He's pretty good in the role, charismatic and approachable and positive, despite being dressed like a stuffy substitute teacher.
We're going to play a game of alphabet soup. Take a look at this soup here. There are letters in here that should be up on that menu over there. The chef used the letters from the menu to make his alphabet soup. So what we're going to do is you two will dive in there, not literally, just stick your hands in there, go way down deep, get those missing letters, pass them to your partners who will put them on the board where she thinks they belong. Okay? First team to do that wins. Goodbye, Chef. Chef boy, oh boy. All right.
Well, it's good that he's here to anchor things, because Think Fast is kind of a mess. There's a very loose structure to things with a massive amount of potential challenges, all of which are more complicated than your usual Double Dare physical challenges. On Double Dare, you have throw cream pies into a net on your partner's head, or something like that. Think Fast is asking for that kind of physical wackiness, but adding a spelling puzzle or size sorting game on top of it. This is sophisticated Double Dare, and with up to 80 challenges in rotation, you can never be prepared for it. After a while, you get a feel for what works. Some of the things come from my own experience as a kid. Sometimes adults are too hip. Kids still want to be kids. They want things on their own level, just sophisticated enough. The key is that we have 80 different challenges and only do 5 each program. You can't be too high on a repeat factor or kids will get bored. 80 challenges is a lot, but that number is also a bit inflated, as some of these challenges were the same game with different presentations. The most egregious of these were the Simon challenges, games where one player does a thing, then the next player does that same thing and then adds something else to the chain, back and forth until someone screws the chain up. Think Fast loved Simon. Sometimes they play it with an oversized telephone, sometimes they played it by adding toppings to an ice cream sundae, and sometimes they touched burping uncles.
Let's start with the blue team. Come over here and pat one of these uncles right now. She's added an uncle. Make sure you add one each time. And add an uncle each time. Add one. Hurry, Gold. Add an uncle. Hurry. Oh, too late. You didn't add an uncle in time. That means the blue team has won.
Yes, the more sophisticated Double Dare. Still, even factoring in these reskimmed games, there's a lot of variety on display, and each challenge more complex than a Double Dare physical challenge, meaning there's more to explain on the fly, more for the kids to comprehend, and the result is a lot of kids really unsure of what they're supposed to be doing.
That's cereal, that's fruit, and snacks. And let's see what they have over here. That's not snacks? Oh, that's S-N-C-A-K. That's Knacks. Oh, I'm sorry. The gold team buzzed in. That means the blue team wins.
Like Finders Keepers, Think Fast had it so that if a team finished a task incorrectly, the opposing team would win the money, even if they weren't even close to finishing, making this a game show less about which team is better, and instead about which team is the least bad. It's another game show where a couple of mannequins could stand around doing nothing and still theoretically win it. And some of these set pieces just weren't workshopped ahead of time. One challenge had the kids trying to form 3-word phrases from a fruit machine style device, but the people inside the prop clearly had no guide as to how to stop the machine in the right place, and chaos always ensued.
The tension is unbelievable here. And the gold team is in first.
Do not enter. 6, 5, and 8.
6, 5, and 8. Do not enter. Do not enter. Is that up there? There's a do. Let's see that not. Enter is here. Stop. The do just went by. Yeah, that's up there. Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, Think Fast is quite the mess. A far cry from the game shows that came before it. It didn't have nearly the amount of time Double Dare had to polish its format, and lacked Double Dare's excellent pacing. And while Finders Keepers had its own design flaws, the Wreck the House centerpiece was very memorable, something Think Fast's locker room really wasn't. And this isn't a case of new behind-the-scenes talent trying their inexperienced hands at making a game show. 2 of Double Dare's co-creators, Robert Mittenthal and Michael Klinghoffer, were the credited creators here. And Double Dare's co-creator, Jeffrey Darby, was one of the developers. Byron Taylor returned as art director, and Ed Kaloff once again composed the theme. One new name in the developers' credits, and a new face around Nickelodeon offices, was Herb Scannell. In 1988, Scannell transferred to Nickelodeon after being the director of program promotion for both Showtime and the Movie Channel, and quickly became Nick's new director of programming. His first credited work for the channel was as a producer for Mark Summers' Magical Mystery Tour. Think Fast was his second credit. A humble start for Jerry Laybourne's eventual replacement. In any case, I don't think Fast's failure was caused by anything but rush. A rush to use up the resources they had, which meant less time focused testing and polishing, resulting in just a mess of a game show. That said, binge watching it for this project was rarely boring. The number of gaffes, unenthusiastic kids, contentious results, and the randomness of it all kept the adult me entertained. Just not in the way Nickelodeon was intending. I don't think I ever watched this as a kid, but I struggle to imagine taking to it when there were other, better game show options available on the channel. Filmed with a 4 episodes a day schedule, Think Fast produced 65 episodes for its first season, and while I'm unsure of its ratings or reception, Nick must have felt it promising enough to polish it a bit for a second season, moving it from WHYY-TV to the still not quite finished Nickelodeon Studios. However, Michael Carrington wouldn't follow the show to Florida.
As the new host of Think Fast, I've got to keep on my toes. Let's see that brain bender. Come on, guys, that's obviously too easy. It's Millard Fillmore, the 13th president. I've got to keep one step ahead of my contestants. Oh, great, guys, that's a really tough one.
Skip. These letters can spell out 27 distinct words.
Make that one tougher, guys. If you think you're smart, prove it. Watch Think Fast.
Join Skip Lackey for the brain mania of Think Fast every weekday at 6, 5 Central on Nickelodeon.
A few years after Think Fast, Carrington would join the writing team on The Simpsons, co-writing the season 4 episode Homer's Triple Bypass. and from there worked pretty steadily as a writer and producer for programs like Martin, The Jamie Foxx Show, That's So Raven, Cory in the House, The First Family, and The Neighborhood. Carrington would be replaced by Skip Lackey, an actor who had been in a few B-movies, including the Jim Carrey vampire comedy Once Bitten. The neckties and button-ups were replaced with some very loud shirts. Many retrospectives on this show aren't kind to Skip Lackey, but I found him to be perfectly serviceable. There are many gaffes and line flubs, sure, but not that much more than under Carrington. Lackey has a bit more energy, but not annoyingly so. I prefer Carrington, sure, but I don't know, I just don't see what the problem is here.
Here's how we play Think Fast. Our two teams are going to be competing in a variety of events that are designed to test both their mental ability and their physical skill. If they win an event, they earn cash, and most importantly, they get a shot at the Think Fast Brainbender worth $200. The team with the most money at the end of the game gets to go on that mad dash for cash and prizes and face the ultimate challenge in the locker room. Yes!
Lackey does have a bit of a Will Wheaton vibe to him, especially in the voice, and yeah, his shirts and energy go against the show's original, "We're sophisticated" mission statement. And yes, this is the second show in a row where the original African-American host was replaced by a white guy, which is a little disconcerting, but in isolation, Lackey is fine. If you want to see a genuinely bad game show host, wait until the next episode. Moving to Nickelodeon Studios meant a boost to production values. The set actually looked like something, in this case a grade school hallway, and the props were a bit more polished. The games largely stayed the same, however, including everyone's favorite burping uncles.
This is cracking me up.
No!
This is going the wrong way here. Oh, I guess I got the wrong order, correct? Judges, whoa, Blue, that was very good. This one went a long way. This one's cracking me up. Gold, you win the $50. Come on over here. Oh, boy, that one went a long time.
The only major change in gameplay came in the revamped locker room segments. Instead of each player getting 30 seconds each, both players would alternate to find 6 matches in 60 seconds. This meant that the time bomb mechanic didn't work, so it was replaced with the red herring, a locker room character with no match that the kids would have to identify and lock back up.
Trying to match, go! You're trying to find that crazy sail, whatever she is, enough for it. Okay, lock it up. All right, go! You're trying, who is that? Yeah, tell her who it is. It's a herring, that's right, okay.
As Nickelodeon Studios wasn't open to the general public yet, the second season of Think Fast populated its audience and contestants with entire Florida middle schools. The schools framed these trips as rewards for academic achievements and good conduct. 41 episodes were produced for Season 2, and a Season 3 entered pre-production that summer, with Skip Lackey hosting auditions for contestants in 20 different malls across the United States. This third season would never get past pre-production. As Nickelodeon geared up for a very eventful and program-packed 1991, cuts would need to be made. Think Fast was already a Saturday-only game show, airing at 11 a.m. A decent time slot to catch kids coming out of their Saturday morning cartoon marathons. You know, when you just want to watch whatever. Think Fast was prime whatever television. Think Fast would air its final episode on June 29th, 1991. Soon forgotten as more flashy game shows would come to litter 90s Nick. If that was that, Think Fast would be among the more forgotten Nickelodeon original programs, along with Total Panic or Don't Just Sit There. 3 or 4 episodes would be found on lazily recorded VHS tapes, and I'd be piecing this together from some isolated clips as usual. Thank God for Nickelodeon Games and Sports for Kids. Nickelodeon's All Game Show spin-off channel premiered in 1999, 20 years after Nickelodeon's premiere and 10 years after Think Fast started airing. Perfect timing for the first serious wave of Nickelodeon nostalgia projects. with Nick Gass airing pretty much the entirety of Nick's game show catalog, those interested in preservation and tape trading had a field day. Game shows that might have faded further and further into obscurity were now made wildly accessible, and Think Fast was no exception. Think Fast produced 106 episodes over its 2 seasons. Through tape trading and file sharing, I managed to get my hands on 91 of those episodes. That is a remarkable preservation rate for a short-lived B-list cable game show of this vintage, and we couldn't have done that without Nick Gass. Think Fast was an underbaked program meant to use up old resources as new things started coming down the pipe. There were better game shows before it, and there would be many, many better game shows after it. But it still had a messy, underdog charm to it that I've grown to love. A make-it-up-as-we-go feeling that other equally sloppy shows like Don't Just Sit There or Total Panic just seemed to lack. Maybe Michael Carrington was just that charismatic. Maybe the goof-ups were just funnier than usual. Whatever the case, Think Fast didn't deserve better, but I'm glad it's not forgotten.
Nick, 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 Nickelodeon. Nick, 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 Nickelodeon.
Next time. Hey, another game show. It's about academics. Kids love academics, right? And the host really doesn't seem to want to be there. How is Think Fast the better game show to come out this year? A huge thank you and shout out to Kurt, who assisted in gathering the majority of the footage of this episode. He runs the Out of Context Nick Game Show's Twitter account, which is a lot of fun and totally worth a follow. Link in the description below. Thank you all for watching. If you'd like to support Nick Knacks and other Pop Arena projects, consider contributing to my Patreon. Every dollar goes to production values, research materials, and fish sticks. You can also support the channel by hitting that like button, leaving a comment, subscribing, and hitting that bell for notifications, following me on Twitter, sending a one-time donation through PayPal or Coffee, and sharing Nick Knacks with all your friends. Thank you again, and remember, Black Lives Matter.